Hey guys, what's going on? Aaron Bennett here. This is going to be a short video with everything Celsius Network related since the last video I put out. So if you have not already watched the interview with Simon Dixon and Invest Answers, definitely check it out. It is a long interview, but it really gives Simon's perspective on everything. He gets very, very passionate about what's going on. But what I want to talk about too is this latest story that Celsius is changing their legal team and is taking the same legal team that Voyager took, or Voyager is using, to file bankruptcy. So this is something I want to talk about. I'm going to go through the story, explain to you what I think, and also explain to you what Simon Dixon thinks as well. But Alex's wife, Chrissy, is tweeting quite a bit, which she's getting mixed comments. Some people are like, hey, what's going on with Celsius? Can you please talk to your husband? And all the while, she's talking about her own company, posting some kind of cryptic messages, and just kind of continuing to tweet as if things are normal, which is kind of interesting. I don't really know what to make of it. So I'm going to share this latest story about changing their legal team, and then I'm going to go over a couple tweets from Simon Dixon about his latest thoughts about what's going on. Celsius changes their legal team, pays off $20 million in Aave debts. Celsius has reportedly hired lawyers from Kirkland and Ellis LLP to advise on its restructuring options, the same firm that assisted Voyager Digital with its bankruptcy filing last week. And Celsius also paid off $20 million USDC on their Aave loan, which I'm pulling up right here on Twitter, making this a little bit bigger. You can see right here is the Etherscan where they repaid 20 million USDC. So I already talked about them paying off their maker loan, and they actually sent that wrapped Bitcoin to FTX. Right here, you can see they withdrew that 21,962.63 wrapped Bitcoin, and they sent it to FTX. Now, what they're going to do with it in FTX, whether they are going to convert it into normal Bitcoin, and then what are they going to do with that Bitcoin, nobody knows. Everybody is speculating, including Simon Dixon, who is also speculating on what he thinks is happening. Now, I want to go over a couple of the latest tweets from Simon Dixon, if you're not following him on Twitter, just with his thoughts, and then I'll talk about what I think about what's going on, at least right now, and then I'll finish off with two short videos. So somebody asked Simon, Chapter 11 will at least give them time to pay depositors back as long as Bitcoin goes up or on a bull run, right? And Simon responds, the point of Chapter 11 is forcing transparency on finances for those that want to propose recovery plans under an NDA. It's best if they provide transparency before, than if nothing is hidden. So Simon has talked about, he believes that there's a large hole in the billions of dollars on Celsius's balance sheet. Now, Simon is navigating a couple different kind of hot waters here. One, he is a depositor just like us. Also, Bank to the Future, his company, owns, I believe, 7% or more of Celsius. And he was also offered a board seat, which I'll get to in a moment. Somebody said, what exactly are we waiting for? I'm not sure what is the next move. He says the numbers. Basically, Celsius has not come out with their transparent financials because I believe Simon thinks that there is a massive hole and there may be some things that were done illegally, like operating as a fractional reserve bank, when Alex, over the years, as we know, was basically saying, hey, take your money from your bank account and earn yield on it in USDC, right? Kind of saying how safe it was. So he thinks there's a little bit more to it, and there's a reason why Celsius has not done Chapter 11 yet, and they have not exposed their entire financials like Voyager did. Remember that Voyager filed Chapter 11 very, very soon after they halted withdrawals. I think within a few days, they were on top of this. They basically said, hey, we lent money to 3AC. They are going bankrupt and they're not going to pay us back. And here's what we got. Here's our financials. So Simon is kind of saying, why hasn't Celsius done that yet? Some people think that there is a clash between maybe what Alex wants and what the board wants. And again, Simon was offered a board seat and he declined because Simon was advised, I believe, to not join the board because he would be liable if anything bad were to happen, and that would shut him up, which I'll get to in a future tweet. So Simon said that in his opinion, I can only interpret that Alex was trying to make me a director after withdrawals were suspended when there seems something is hiding. as a hostile act to shut me up and unethically use my reputation and ruin my ability to work in a regulated environment. Now, these are pretty strong accusations, or I should say these are strong opinions, and he really got into it on Invest Answers. He was dropping F-bombs and swearing, and, he was really being very open, and I really, really appreciated it. And I think he's beginning to just kind of say, you know what, screw it. If they go Chapter 11, why am I going to start to hide what I really think here? Somebody said, is there any way for depositors like you and I to take over the Celsius company? Simon says, yes, there is. It's called a bail-in, where all depositors become shareholders to the equal value of the financial whole. It requires transparency on finances and a company that has a regulatory and legal future with fair, clear, and not misleading communications. So Simon is, again, kind of alluding to what he's talked about on previous interviews, that he thinks there has not been clear and not misleading communication. He thinks that the communication from Alex and corporate has been misleading. And I, right now, would agree with him. I've been following every AMA for, I think it's been 2 years or so. I've been making updates every single week for like 2 years. So I have a really good vantage point to remember so much of what was said and the ethos of Celsius and how much risk Celsius obviously was taking in terms of DeFi and then doing under-collateralized loans to places that they thought were really safe, like 3AC, how that could go down, and now all of a sudden they have potentially a massive problem. I don't think it was clear. I mean, it really wasn't. In this tweet, Simon says transparency on finances, which they have not provided because they have not filed their Chapter 11 yet. And he says a company that has a regulatory and legal future. So Simon also thinks that Celsius, as they're structured now, can't actually operate and continue to do what they're doing because they are not a bank. And they were basically selling securities and they were not allowed to. So for Celsius to continue, which is what Simon is beginning to really speak publicly about, they are going to need to either get a new management or transition into a company that can legally do what Celsius was actually doing all along, but was misrepresenting. And Simon, with his company Bank to the Future, I believe that he thinks his company would be one with his connections, his many, many connections in the space, and Simon being incredibly wealthy himself, to basically take over what Celsius was doing and make it fully legal, give all the disclosures that maybe weren't given to you and I, and do so in kind of like a new and refreshed way. So here somebody asked, can you explain how custody and earn would be treated differently if Celsius sells off the custody part? I'm a non-accredited U.S. depositor in earn, the main part of the business, because my funds were there before the rules changed. So Simon says, in his opinion, my understanding from public records is Celsius moved all U.S. non-accredited investors to a subsidiary custody business. This may be sold separately. I believe this is an unlicensed custody business, and if sold, your funds would be under the control of a new buyer. So it's honestly getting very confusing because we're getting Simon's opinions, and some people are thinking that Simon's opinions are trying to sway the community into supporting something that may not be in the best interest of the depositors. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on Twitter. I am siding with Simon right here, but I don't quite understand what this would mean for us. But in this tweet, it explains it a little bit more. Somebody asked, can you expand on restructuring the company in the way that would hide the financials of the main business, just trying to understand the situation better. Simon says, in his opinion, split the company in 3. Sell the mining and custody business, hide the financials of the main business, and hope regulators won't shut Celsius Network down. So this is what Simon believes maybe Alex or the board want to do to basically make sure that Celsius does not get shut down, and possibly that there aren't any legal or criminal charges if something was really done illegally. So to split the company into 3, mining, custody, and then the main business, like the earn business, I believe, keep them separate and hope the regulators don't look deeper into what Celsius was doing and basically what Alex was saying and what was actually happening behind the scenes. And I want to end the video with 2 short videos, or just me explaining the videos, and then just go over what I think right now about everything. So this is a video. It was a few months ago. I think it was in like November or late last year, where Peter Schiff basically was calling out Alex saying, what do you do to generate income on that Bitcoin? You're trading it. You've got to be taking tremendous amount of risk. The Bitcoin itself, it does not generate any yield. And Alex, as we know, like he said in every single AMA for years, we can generate yield on Bitcoin. We are doing what the banks basically are doing anyway, but they aren't paying you, right? We know, you and I, if you've been watching the AMAs, we know what Alex and the rest of the team were saying. And one of the main problems right now is that Alex has been completely silenced, because it's a matter of, have you been saying the truth all this time? Have you been embellishing, or have you been lying? Have you been basically saying this is incredibly safe, which you and I thought it was, because Alex was basically saying this is incredibly safe, especially with stablecoins like USDC. Like earning 7, 8, 9, 10, 13% on your stablecoins, take it out of the bank. I mean, you and I remember what Alex was saying every single week. And this is another video that Alex did, and it really is hard looking at these videos now because we don't know what Alex would say right now. All we're doing is speculating. We're listening to people like Simon Dixon, and we're not actually hearing from Alex. And that's something that really sucks. I mean, I want to hear from him. I want him to come and say exactly what happened, what he did, how he messed up, how he could have done better, and if he is basically guilty of doing things that he regrets. I want to hear that from him. In this video, basically, he's talking all about, like you and I have heard, how they would open the kimono, basically share the financials with everybody, this whole proof of community, everything is transparent, we're not hiding anything from you. We know this is what Alex was saying for years, and this really gave myself and probably a lot of you so much confidence to give possibly all of our money, all of our net worth, all of our crypto, taking all of our cash, converting it into the USDC and sticking it into Celsius. This is not uncommon. I'm getting stories like this all the time, and it makes total sense why somebody would do this. And it's just so many videos talking about, how safe it is. And again, we know what Alex was saying. We know the ethos and the vibe of Celsius. So to sum up this video, how am I feeling right now? It's so much speculation and just hearing other people talk about what they think is going to happen, including myself and including Simon. He's talking all over the place, doing Twitter, AMAs, and interviews all the time. And we're not hearing from Celsius and Alex. So we are left in this kind of space of, what are they going to do? How's it going to play out? What's going to happen? What would Chapter 11 do to our assets? There are companies that have done Chapter 11 or gone through a restructuring and have come out much stronger on the other side. This has happened a lot. Will that happen with Celsius? I don't know. Can Celsius still operate as they were if they were to continue? I don't know. Was Alex breaking the law? I don't know. Would a securities company like Bank to the Future be better set up to do what Celsius was doing? And maybe Celsius was doing things that were a little bit stretching what they should have been doing legally? I don't know. All we're doing is hearing from other people. We're not hearing from any lawyers. We're not hearing from Alex. We're not hearing from Nuke or Daniel or the other management. We're getting some cryptic tweets from Chrissy, Alex's wife, which is, I don't know what to make of those. You can check it out if you want. So to officially sum it up, I am still in Simon Dixon's corner. I am on Simon Dixon's team. He has money in like us, and he's also a shareholder. So he has a double interest to basically make depositors right, because he is a massive depositor with tens of millions of dollars. And he's also an investor in Celsius. And what I've heard him talk about is that what is good for him is good for us. What is good for the shareholders is good for the depositors. So I am still in support of Simon, but I don't know how much sway Simon has right now, and we will just see what happens, guys. So maybe this video is a little longer than I thought it would be, but I just wanted to share what I'm thinking, share what I'm feeling, and let you guys know that, I'm still here with you. I'm not going anywhere, and a lot of YouTubers have just completely stopped talking about Celsius because they don't want to be associated with it anymore. I know who these people are, and I get why they just want to pretend it never happened, but I'm not that guy. I'm not going to do that because I'm here with you, and I'm going to be basically in the trenches with you this whole way through. All right, guys, that's it. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.